Hey guys, what's up? This is False Bulls 123, and this is day 38, oh my, of my quarantine vlogs. So, I mentioned it a little bit before that, I only own one yellow shirt, and this is the one. And actually, while we are here, my one yellow hat. Now I look perfect for golfing. Anyway, guys. So, I was thinking, this is a vlogging channel, I know, can you imagine that? Why don't we do a story time? So it's story time! And today I'm going to be telling you probably the earliest story I have about myself. And if I'm being honest, it's really more about my mother, but I was in there somewhere, you know? I'm kind of in the story. You'll understand. So guys, did I ever tell you about that time that my mom got strangled by a nurse? So, everyone has those, weird little tidbits about themselves, right? Maybe you have webbed toes, or you can swallow fire, or you're really good at giving foot rubs. Who knows? My one little thing that's really interesting about myself is that I was actually born premature by 3 months, which is quite a bit, actually, in terms of prematurity. I was my development was fine. Pretty much all that means is that I'm 5'10", which is average, instead of being 6 feet or 6'2", like most of the men in my family. But, it's okay. I'm a little bit of a runt in my family, so it is what it is, right? So, basically, my mom was going along, having the best of times, being pregnant, and her water breaks. And she's like, oh shit, this is happening. And so she rushes to the hospital, and she's really concerned, because she is supposed to pop out this baby till it's January, and, it's the middle of fucking it's barely even November right now. So she gets into the hospital, no one is telling her jack diddly, and she is not having any of this bullshit. And they're just like, hey, we just need you to calm down, just take a deep breath, and all of it's gonna be absolutely okay. And they keep shoving sedative at her to make her calm down, and she's like, fuck this noise, I ain't doing jack diddly none of it. Because, she is so worried about, losing me. And so they pump her so full of sedative that it would have put my grandpa, who was this 6'2", 500-pound man. He was a mountain of a man to sleep 4 different times. But her adrenaline was going, she just would not go to sleep. And so they're like, if we put a single ounce of more sedative in her, she will die. That baby will also coincidentally die. And so the nurse did the only thing that she could to get my mother to, calm down, to relax, to essentially go to sleep. And that was to climb on top of her, wrap her hands around her throat, and choke her out. Now, obviously, choking can be very dangerous, but there are ways of doing it without causing suffocation. I don't really know how exactly, because I'm not into BDSM, but I do know that's how it works. And so, she passes out, and that's the last thing she remembers. So people are wondering, well, how did mom push you, your giant baby head out of her hoo-ha if she was asleep? And the answer was, I was a C-section baby, so I can officially kill Macbeth. I guess, hashtag literally illusions. Anyway. So, my mom, my mom wakes up. By that point, I was in I was in, not the ICU, but, wherever they shove premature babies, I was in that ward. All I know is that there's, a bunch of, glass bubble cases, and I had, steroids for my lungs and stuff, because I couldn't yet breathe or whatever. It was a whole ordeal. And so, pretty much, my mom comes out, she's in a wheelchair, of course, because she was pregnant, and she's sobbing buckets. And so, my Mima, my grandmother, she, rushes forward, and she's like, honey, what's wrong? And my mom's like, they choked me. And I imagine that's what she sounded like. I'm not good at doing sad people voices. And so, my grandma thinking, okay, you just had one of those, horrifying pregnancy illusions. Sorry, hallucinations, which I hear are a thing. But, roast me in the comments for not understanding women's anatomy. And so, she assumed that she was, hallucinating because of the drugs and the stress and all of that, because apparently that is a thing that happens. And so, she's like, it's okay, sweetie, it's fine, these types of things happen when you're pregnant, it was just stress. And the nurse says, oh no, sweetie, we had to choke her. And my grandmother's face turned as white as a sheet. See, that's the story, that's the full story, and I love that story. My family loves to tell that story, because honestly, we think that story's funny for some reason. And that's kind of the thing that is an issue a lot when you're telling family stories, or you're telling stories that, you really have to be there to understand, because you lose a lot, you don't have the same sort of context that a storyteller has, that, you as an audience doesn't have the same context that I as the person telling the story has. And so there's a lot that is left unsaid and a lot that is really inexplainable. What I find humorous about that story is really the look of shock on my grandmother's face, which, personally knowing my grandmother, I can imagine that, and that is funny to me. I can imagine, and the glibness of the notes, all of the situation is humorous to me because of how the story is told and the context of the people experiencing it. Because I know my grandmother, I know my mother. In a weird, very unusual turn of events, I also know myself somehow. Can you believe that? How the fuck did that happen? But you guys only know me. And by know is actually, if you think about it, very tenable. You really have a very limited perception of what I allow myself to be shown on camera itself. So in a lot of ways, the way that I tell this story is shifted through a bunch of different filters, both my own camera presence, but also your understanding of my family dynamics. And so, while I love that story, while I think it has just so many great aspects to it, to you, it probably sounds like a super fucked up and scary thing that happened to my mom, even though my mother actually finds the story to be humorous. And so I think it's always very interesting because the context of how you tell a story definitely changes based on your perception of it. And I think that's just one of the fascinating things about storytelling. So I love that story, and it was a fun time sharing with you, but I realized that this story might not have the same impact that it has for you that it does for, someone who's in my family who has that oral history and that context for the story. I think it'd be in the same way of somebody's... Oh, I remember, and I don't know the exact sort of cultural context of it, but I remember I was watching this video one time, and they were discussing things about being Chinese, and they mentioned that in China they have a lot of proverbs and fables and things like that, which are used idiomatically. And so the idioms make sense to them because they have the context of the fables and the literary history behind it, but for an outsider, the idiom would be very, very strange. I guess if we were looking at it in a Western sense, it would be like calling somebody an ugly duckling or an evil stepsister, though to much less of a, I guess, cultural prevalence. And so it is very interesting, how our culture, even if it is a family culture, or, just a very much smaller niche culture, really affects the way we understand and perceive the world. Anyway, guys, it's kind of got off topic, but I love storytelling. It is one of my favorite things to do. My grandma always said that we've been a family of storytellers, and I take that to heart. That's also why I'm a little bit of a douche and put Ricanta on my Instagram, because, let's be honest, if you're not kind of full of yourself on Instagram, do you really have an Insta? I'm just saying. I'm also just saying that Academia is pretty much just goth people who fancy themselves to be 18th century poets. If you aren't getting consumption, are you really Dark Academia? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. If you didn't get stabbed, are you really Spinoza? I'm just saying. Anyway, this bit is getting off topic, so... Anyway, guys, I'm probably gonna, just... really trying to think if there's anything else I want to say today, I think that was a fun time with the story time, but I am going to just move a little bit right now to talk about more of just like, what's been happening in my life. Honestly, I've been very frustrated lately. Not because of my channel, which, growth takes time, these things take time, and I enjoy making things for the sake of making them. And that's what I really try to hold on to as a content creator, to make content for myself rather than other people. Because I know that I will not be able to make a amazing bona fide product that everyone just wants to shove their patootie into. But I know that I can make something that is very much myself, and I believe that I am a charismatic enough person that people will enjoy me for me. Because that's how it works in my real life. I imagine yokel strangers on the internet will feel the same. That is not to disenfranchise people who live in rural areas or agriculturally. But anyway, but yeah, this quarantine has made me very frustrated with life. Just because it has put an impasse for me to reach my goals. I feel like at this point in my life, a lot of the goals that I've set up for myself are mainly financial, because finances are kind of one of the things that I have been having issues with in the last year. And so coming back to Medford has been a new start financially, it's been a new start socially, and I really want to make the most of, just this new chapter in my life. And I'm trying my best, but with the quarantine, I just feel like I'm stuck. I'm stuck in this limbo again, and I just really want to be in a place where I am comfortable and free of the stress of being in this, position. And we're gonna get there one day, I'm striving towards my goals as best as I can. Except, lovely enough, I got denied for unemployment, even though I've been off for 2 months, so yay. Thanks, American government, I love you to bits. I don't know who I'm voting for, but it'll make me angry anyway. So that's fun. But yeah, it's been frustrating for a lot of reasons, and mostly my biggest frustrations in life is just financial stability. Honestly, if I could be in a relationship with someone who's just hey, you want to stay home and cook, and I'll handle all the money stuff, and I'm just I'll lock that ass down. Okay, it's I don't mind being a domestic partner because I love to cook. I like keeping in household. And someone's just don't worry about the money. I'll just buy you eggplant whenever you want and you never have to be stressed out in life. That's nice. That's sexy. Honestly, I'd do that. But yeah, it's just, I feel with the quarantine, I haven't been able to work. I haven't been able to reach my financial goals or plan or really just have that safety net that I like to have. Because when I have an income, when I have a safety net, I don't feel bad for spending $10 on myself. I don't feel bad about maybe buying myself a game every month. I don't feel bad about if I need a new pair of shorts because my old ones crapped on me. I don't have to worry about not having pants because I can go buy pants. And it's but when I'm off, I feel like everything I'm doing, even if it's me trying to be productive or to achieve a more personal goal of mine, though, if you think about it, aren't most goals personal? I guess you have professional goals, but I feel like improving your career is also a personal goal. Not the point! But it's yeah, it's just, I feel like I'm stuck and I can't move forward with everything that's happening in the quarantine. And yeah, I'm literally stuck at home. I literally cannot go out and achieve the things I need. And for the most part, that's okay. I'm in a stable home environment. I have a support network. I'm going to be okay. But it's frustrating when when I know what I need to do to improve my life to my satisfaction, but I'm unable to achieve that. That and I've been a little bitch and I haven't edited any of my daily vlogs, so I'm 2 weeks behind, and luckily enough, thank goodness. But the way that I planned out my production schedule is I pretty much have a freebie week right here. So all of these weeks are accounted for because May actually has 5 weeks to it technically. And so from today, which is Sunday, to Saturday, I got to do any blog posts or anything like that. So I can spend this entire week just editing videos. And what I should really do is, like, plan it out and be like, okay, we edit like this many ones so you don't get burnt out editing videos and then procrastinate and play Minecraft for 3 days in a row and then have to fucking rush the rest of the week. But we'll get there, we'll get there. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching this video. I'm really happy that you just let me ramble and sort of vent. Mostly because there's a lot of times that it's like, I don't know how to express what I'm feeling. And yeah, I journal sometimes. I try to talk to my family, but there's also some things that, like, it's just, it's nice to explain to somebody who's actually concerned for themselves from, like, a content perspective. And it's nice that even though I only have, like, a couple subscribers that maybe watch my videos, I honestly don't know if anyone watches these videos. I don't get that many views. But I'm glad that, like, I'll have people out there that, like, they'll watch a video and they'll say, hey, like, I really liked it, like, you're adorable, you're fun, and I'm like, thank you, like, it means a lot, because I can't really say that I put all sorts of effort into my videos, because I try, but there's also a lot of limitations that I have that means that I can't really have as great quality or as great editing as I want. And that bums me out. Like, I wish I could, like, constantly push the envelope and try new things, but right now I have kind of a brick wall of what I can make and do technologically wise. And so I do make my videos a lot simpler than I can, just because it would be too much of a time sink or too much of a stressor otherwise. I still try to, like, if I have, like, a really cute idea for, like, a video and I want to try something new, I will push myself. Like, my book review one, that was new content, and I made a little cold open there where I was trying to, like, recreate a Tumblr post. And I had a lot of fun doing that, even though it was not the best, but, it's all a learning curve. And eventually, I'm going to be able to reach my goals. I know this. It's just, at the moment when you're not making progress and you can't really make progress, it's frustrating. Anyway, guys, I'm going to kind of, shut up now. This video is getting a lot longer than I was expecting it to. I really thought this video was going to be, like, maybe 5-10 minutes, but it's going to be about 20 by now, so, oh well. Anyway, just remember, guys, like I said, there's always a lot of ways you could help support me and help me grow my channel. You can, of course, do the big trifecta, like, comment, and subscribe. Tell me something about, do you have any fun birthing stories? Like, were you prematurely born? Was it a water birth? Does your mother have, like, a really funny, like, story about that? Ask your mother, like, unless you don't have, like, a mother for a variety of reasons. And if that's the case, I do apologize, and I know there's an amount of privilege for having two parents. But besides that, like, just tell me a fun story about you when you were, like, a little child. There we go. And of course, like, feel free to share this video. I don't really know what audience people would want to hear about some guy talking about, like, his, I don't know, birth, and then being really maudlin and sad for, like, the rest of it. But if you have a friend out there who's, like, really into niche shit like that, I mean, here's my dumb face. There you go. Get it. Anyway, guys. Like I said, got a lot of editing to do, so I need to shut up now and, like, kind of get on that. This is False Bulls 1, 2, 3, and I'm signing off.